Henry VIII was the King of England and Ireland from 1509 to 1547 and is arguably one of the most famous monarchs in English history. Known for his love of hunting, jousting, music, wine and women, Henry was like the Mick Jagger of the Tudors. This is the story of Henry VIII and his animals. Although Henry liked to collect wives and dispatch of some of them, he was also a collector of animals and gifted many across his reign, including 400 dogs to then Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, who also happened to be his nephew by marriage to his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. These dogs were to show support in times of war, and the 400 dogs were trained to attack enemies. Henry was also a huge animal lover, and he kept canaries as well as nightingales in bird cages hanging in the windows of Hampton Court. Henry also owned a marmoset that he was given in 1534, as well as kept ferrets, although no one else was allowed to own them. These were exclusive to the king. Some of Henry's favourite animals included horses, and it's suggested that Henry was the one who brought the sport of dressage to England. Despite being over 6 foot and a sizable man, Henry was said to be nimble in the saddle. Henry VIII also adored dogs. He had a plethora and would use them for hunting as well as had his own dogs for pets. In fact, there was even a department in the royal household named the Kennels. Some believe the reason the Isle of Dogs in London's East End is called so is because this possibly was also the place where Henry VIII kennelled his hunting hounds, as it lays just across the river from Greenwich Palace. Part of Henry's pet dog collection included beagles, spaniels and greyhounds who wore velvet collars, and these were adorned with pearls in the king's arms to show they were the dogs of the king. These dogs apparently also wore white little silk coats and were fed a vegetarian diet in an attempt to discourage them from biting humans. 2 of Henry's dogs we know about were called Cut and Ball, and they must have been quite curious pups indeed, because they seem to have developed a habit for going missing. And it's reported Henry would spend huge amounts of money to find them whenever they did go AWOL. By 1542, Henry's weight had ballooned and he needed a form of wheelchair, which meant his horse riding days were numbered. Nevertheless, his love of dogs remained, and when he died, aged 55 on the 28th of January in 1547, his courtiers found 65 dog leads in his closet.